You know, we need Tomahawks, and we need a lot of other weapons that we're sending to Ukraine. And one of the reasons we want to get this war over is exactly that. It's not easy for us to give. You're talking about massive numbers of very powerful weapons. So that's one of the things we'll be talking about. Hopefully they won't need it. Hopefully we'll be able to get the war over with without thinking about Tomahawks.
Well, look, after Mr. Trump's spectacular diplomacy in the Middle East, including his judicial use of force along with Israel, of course, everybody wants him to end the Russian-Ukraine war. Joining us now, Robert O'Brien, who's former national security advisor in Mr. Trump's first term. Robert, so this Tomahawk thing, I don't know. How important is it? What's your read on it? And where's this thing headed?
Well, I think you're right, Larry. The president walks into this negotiation now with a lot of momentum from the Middle East deal, the Gaza deal. He had 20 world leaders with him in Egypt. Putin was not there. Putin's been iced out of the Middle East, and now he's come into this deal with a lot of momentum. The Tomahawks basically are an extension of what you and I have been talking about, and that's massive economic stress to place on Russia to get them to come to the table. Zelenskyy, and I'm sure this has been part of the conversation, is not going to use the Tomahawks on apartment buildings and civilian targets in Russia, like the Russians have been doing to the Ukrainians. He's going to use those Tomahawks very judiciously to take out the Russian oil and gas industry. And that'll limit, stop their ability to finance the war and to export oil and gas.
You know, General Keane, by the way, General Jack Keane totally agrees with our view on that. He said it many times. I mean, I'd like to see or hear Mr. Trump saber rattle the financial restraints. I mean, the Senate is poised to pull the trigger on a huge tariff on Russian oil purchases, no matter whom, whether it's China or whomever. I don't know why Mr. Trump doesn't want to, you know, talk about that. We're kind of hung up on this Tomahawk thing, Robert. There are other avenues, as you've discussed, we've discussed, you know, in the last couple of years. Meanwhile, what happened? Does anybody know? With respect, they had a meeting. It wasn't one-on-one, but it was a lunch in the cabinet room, Zelenskyy and Trump and I'm sure other dignitaries, Marco Rubio and so forth. Does anybody know what happened? What's come out of this?
I think we'll get a readout very soon, Larry, and you know, we'll talk to our friends, you and I, and we'll get a feel for what happened. Right now, it's a little unclear. My guess is there was a lot of talk about the Tomahawks. You know, Zelenskyy wants them. He knows that'll put pressure on the Russians. President Trump is rightly reticent to give them because that is a serious escalation. And by the way, we need those Tomahawks to defend Taiwan as well. So they're a scarce commodity, but I think the president hates the civilian death in Ukraine. And I think if he needs to stop the war, he'll give them the Tomahawks.